Welcome everybody to NEGU TV, Chatting with Cade. My name is Eric Reese and I get the honor of leading the Jessie Reese Foundation, but more importantly, I get to be her daddy. And today we have a special guest with us on Chatting with Cade. It is the one and only Trent Dilfer. Trent, how are you, buddy?
Eric, Cade, thanks for having me, guys. I'm doing great. I'm day by day and just trying to help these kids out here in Nashville chase their dreams and have an impact in the world beyond that as well.
Well, you are, and I can't go without saying that the majority of the photos behind me are Sports Illustrated covers of guys wearing a NEGU bracelet, but the majority of them is because of you and Elite 11. And everybody at Elite 11, Yogi and Joey and Jordan and everybody for allowing us to bring Courageous Kids to your guys' incredible activation. And so thank you again for partnering with us and continuing to help us help kids like Cade never, ever give up. So we're so grateful for you, Trent, and just really, really appreciate what you've allowed us to do and the kids and the athletes we've been able to meet because of you.
Well, it's been an amazing journey. I mean, I go back to that spring when Jordan Palmer brought NEGU to my attention. I wasn't I wasn't aware of it. Talked about courageous kids and teaching them to never ever give up, and to be able to open up our Elite 11 family is honestly, in the 11 years of doing it, it's probably the best thing we've ever done. To see the joy on the kid's face and then see the reciprocal effect of it as the Deshaun Watsons, Sam Darnolds, and Josh Allens, and Kyle Allens, and then go on and on and on. And their hearts have been captured by these courageous kids. They've decided to take into the cities they live and really amplify the message. Thank goodness for Jordan Palmer. I mean, people give Elite 11 a lot of credit, but I think it ultimately goes back to Jordan, his passion, his connection with y'all, and then his campaigning to allow Elite 11 to be a voice for NEGU, and it's been an unbelievable relationship. And I got to meet knuckleheads like Cade too, which is even better.
Yeah, and that's a great transition. So, Cade, how are you doing, buddy? Today's your first day of summer. You graduated?
Yep, from 8th grade.
Awesome.
You're so old, man.
Yeah, going on to high school.
Yep.
All right, Cade, are you ready to chat with Trent?
Yeah.
All right, so it's all yours, buddy.
First of all, thank you for being on this Zoom. When I was 9 years old, I shared my story for the first time. Thank you for at Elite 11. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of that team.
Of course, Cade. I can remember that day vividly, and I've seen you share your story dozens of times since, and it gives me chills every time. So it's been an honor to be your friend, buddy. More than anything else, to be your buddy has been a thrill of my life.
Thank you. What made you make NEGU a part? How did NEGU come into the Elite 11?
Yeah, I mentioned a little bit earlier before we started your questions. By the way, you're going to see my dog Nala. She's going to poke her face in every once in a while. So, it really came that spring, so that was spring of 13 or 14?
13. 13.
Spring of 13, Jordan and Taylor, obviously his business partner, and I were talking just about how to grow Elite 11 to have more of an impact with it. We were bouncing around all kinds of ideas, and Jordan just kind of stood up and said, I don't think there's anything better that we could do than kind of allow NEGU to become part of our tribe. And I was unfamiliar at the time with NEGU, the Jessie Reese Foundation, and Jordan started coaching me up, and obviously we provided an opportunity that summer. And even going into that summer, July up in Oregon, I didn't know a lot. I mean, I had done my research and talked to you, Eric, and we had some conversations, but didn't realize the touch points of it. And then, Cade, really you telling your story, seeing the courageous kids on campus, and then seeing it capture the hearts of these highly successful high school athletes and kind of humble them is what really caught my attention. And that's how I got introduced, and that's kind of the beginning of my love affair with the Jessie Reese Foundation.
Yeah, Cade, I remember that first time everybody gave you a standing ovation.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I got T-shirt and all stuff.
Yeah.
That was a really fun time. How does the players like respond to NEGU at the Elite 11?
Yeah, it's been great. Well, not just the Elite 11, but you've been out to Epic camps as well, Elite 11 academies. And, you know, I think obviously when kids are going through cancer and taking that courageous battle against it, kids that are healthy, I think they don't know what to say. I think a lot of the times they just don't know how to interact with somebody that's going through something that is so much harder than anything they've ever been through. And I think these activations allow these athletes to connect and now know what to say and be able to express their heart. And it's a more, I don't want to say easier, comfortable. It's just a situation that allows them to connect in a way I don't think they would connect otherwise. And I've seen their hearts melted. I've seen them show a level of compassion and empathy that they probably wouldn't have otherwise. I think it opens their eyes to a big, giant world out there that's bigger than the one they live in. And that's a world where there is struggle and there is pain and there's difficulties and hardships. But yet there's still that incredible human spirit that you've shown and so many of your buddies have shown to fight through those things. So that's really how I've seen impact the kids at Elite 11 and Epic. And I know it is through other hospital visits. I've seen it. I've just seen it over and over and over. What a great avenue it is to touch the hearts of people that maybe otherwise wouldn't really have a connection to a courageous kid that's battling cancer.
That's so cool. Yeah, I've been like, I remember like when I was in the hospital, I've been like, there's a lot of people that came in. Like I remember like my first joy jar, it was like really cool how like it was like when I was like in the midst of like my battles, like they came in and like encouraged me to keep on fighting.
It's incredible. I mean, just something as simple as the joy jar, and it's incredible what I've seen just on the hospital visits I've been to, how it lights that child's face up. And it's not just the stuff in the jar, the cool stuff in the jar. I think it's the delivery. It's the people taking the time to go and show you that, yeah, we know you're going through a tough time, but we're here to support you through it, encourage you through it, and give you some cool stuff in a jar along the way like Jessie would want.
Yeah. Playing quarterback is a big responsibility. It's the most important position in any team sport. What is the most important quality of a quarterback that you look for?
That's a great question, Cade. I get this a lot, and I have a hard time giving short-winded answers on this. My default response to that is toughness, and not the barbaric toughness that people might think. It's more of a resilience, a grit. There is a physical component to it, but it's just that overall holistic toughness that you refuse. And it's very similar to what you get when you're a courageous kid battling cancer. Just that relentless pursuit to get better, that relentless pursuit to take on hard things, not letting challenges break you down. Quarterback has a lot of ups and downs. I never want to compare it to something as big as fighting for your life. But as you're playing quarterback, you have a lot of high peaks, you know, where you're the superstar and everything's going great. And you have these deep, deep valleys. And just that steadfastness to never, ever give up and to be tough enough in body, soul, and mind to keep pushing forward. I think those are the kids that end up, those are your Josh Allens, those are your Sam Darnolds, those are your Deshaun Watsons. I mean, you know Deshaun's story as well as anybody. I don't know if there's anybody that has a better story than Deshaun when it comes to showing that body, soul, mind, toughness, grit, resolve, whatever you want to call it, to pursue his God to give him potential. And now he's taken that and that impact with it. More than just ripping dimes on Sundays, he's changing the world with his impact. So that's it. You know, that's my kind of default most important thing about playing quarterback.
And Trent, when playing off that grit and toughness at Elite 11, I've never asked you this, but I mean, within the first couple of days, can you tell? or is it something that really is not something that I know I've been there with you and you?
Early on, you know what's happened there? Early on, you could, because they didn't know the game.
Oh.
Right? They hadn't seen the TV shows.
Oh, okay.
They didn't know how to fake it. I think years three through now, 4 through now, they've learned to fake it a little bit. So it probably takes a little bit longer. Now that I'm a high school coach, I've learned to lean more on the high school coaches and the high school coaches they compete against, because now you have a full fall or a career that you can get more context of what kind of grit these kids have. But I mean, the kids we talked about, Kyle Allen was a 5-star kid, and it seemed like his high school career was really soft, but it really wasn't. He fought through a lot in his high school career and then really faced his main challenges at the collegiate level. And I think that's what allowed him to been so successful in the NFL. Josh Allen, obviously, that he lived in a city that you drive through. Like, nobody lives there. You drive through it. And he's had to fight for everything he's got. Sam Darnold breaks his ankle before the most important recruiting season of his life, and really showed his resolve the back half of his high school career. And then Deshaun, as we mentioned, a story, for the ages. And I can go on and on and on. Yeah. Those kids showed it early on because they didn't know how to fake it. Now you kind of get these kids that have seen the show, they want to be part of it, and they know how to fake a little bit, so it takes a little more recon.
Got it. All right, Cade, what's next?
What's more rewarding, playing football or coaching?
Cade, it really is coaching. I think as a player, and you might have different, chatting with Cade quarterbacks that answer this differently. I loved it, and I don't ever want to downplay how great it was to be a player, an NFL quarterback, Super Bowl, all that stuff. But you get so wrapped into yourself, and that's the danger of professional athletics, is you become very narcissistic by nature, and it's very much about you, and it's very much about your career path and what's best for you and your success. Because if you're taking care of you, it's also taking care of your team. So when you have these victories, when you have these mountaintop experiences, it's not as gratifying as when you have these corporate victories. And what I mean by that is, now you have, when I got here, Cade, we had 38 kids in the program with 12 to 14 rising freshmen. And then we had a couple move-ins. So let's call it 54. We'll have 110 plus this year. So you have 110 families that their issue has to become your issue, because their issue is the most important issue in their life. And it should be. It's their kid. So I go mad at them for it being a big issue, right? Hey, geometry teacher isn't taking homework late. He was doing this, couldn't get his homework assignment in, geometry grade bad. That's a big issue for that family. Well, it becomes a big issue for me. Well, now we stack 110 of those families, and all their issues become all my issues, become our staff's issues. We work through all that together. We grow closer together because there's healthy conflict, there's challenges, there's ups and downs. You win games, you lose games. And at the end, when you're winning and it's going well for everybody, it is so rewarding, because you know how much you've put in to the program. You know how much you've invested into everybody, not just yourself. And then to see the joy with them. I think there's something more rewarding about seeing somebody else go through an incredible amount of joy than yourself going through it. Because I think sometimes when it's about us, it just lacks juice, right? It just isn't the same as when you see another life change.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah. What is everybody go through hard times? What is the hardest thing that you had to overcome in sports?
In sports, I think that I had quite a few. The hardest for me, many would say leaving Baltimore after winning a Super Bowl, but for me it was the year before that. I was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the 6th overall pick, franchise quarterback, really was part of a neat group that changed Tampa, went from never going to the play or hadn't gone to the playoffs for 17 years to going to the playoffs, going to NFC Championship game. And we had really turned the corner. And to not be re-signed by them, I was a free agent, and they didn't re-sign me. And that, we had roots there. We had had our kids there. We had just built a home there. We planned on making Tampa our forever home. And then to have God move us somewhere else was really, really painful. But look what happened exactly a calendar year later. You know, you're winning the Super Bowl. So good things came from that tough time. But if I could go back and just tell you the amount of discouragement and pain that I felt the most in one time, it was that off season of '99.
Yeah. What is your greatest accomplishment in sports?
You know, Trent doesn't like to brag about himself.
My greatest accomplishment, obviously I have pride in what we did. My greatest accomplishment, Cade, is this. Every team I've ever played for was better when I left than when I got there. I think that's the best thing I can say about myself. If you're going to force me to brag, is my high school teams I went to, we ended up being better than when I entered high school. My college team, my first 3 years starting, won the conference championship. And 2 of those years, it was a division higher. The Bucks hadn't gone to the playoffs in 17 years. We went to the playoffs. Baltimore won a Super Bowl. Go to Seattle in Holmgren's rebuilding years. By the time I leave in 2004, we were in the playoffs. Even Cleveland, my 1 year in Cleveland, we had a better season than we did the year before. And then my 2 years in San Francisco, went there after a 1-15 season. And by the time we left, we were better. And now here at Lipscomb Academy, they had won 3 games in 3 years, and we lost in the state semis last year. So I've always taken pride, and I've taught my daughters this as well, is, you know, the greatest thing you can do as a competitor is make those around you better. I didn't always play great. I'm probably not coaching great right now, but hopefully I'm making the people around me better, like I have the rest of the history of my career.
That's so great.
Yeah, that's so cool. What would you say to a 14-year-old kid that his dream is to play in the NFL?
Yeah, chase your dreams. Like, I'm not a goal guy. I'm a dream guy. I think it's okay to dream big. Even if people say, hey, that may not be realistic, you might not have the physical talent, you might not have the whatever it is. It's okay to dream. It's fun to dream. It's fun to lay in bed at night and look up at the ceiling and picture yourself playing on Sundays. Then that's okay. But I think you need to understand they're just that. They're dreams. And within chasing a dream, I think you have benchmarks. And I think you can chase certain things that you can tell that other people that played in the NFL chase the same stuff. If you're 5'7", 160 pounds, and that's how God made you, you're not going to play in the NFL. Like, it's just not going to happen. But I'm not going to tell a 10-year-old that doesn't know how big he is yet, or a 14-year-old how big he's going to be, that he shouldn't dream about that stuff. Because I think there's an adventure in our dreams. I think sometimes we rob kids of that adventure by telling them they can't. And I'd rather say that, you can dream. You know, maybe you won't reach them, but you can dream. So I'd say keep dreaming big and working as hard as you can. And then at some point you may have to pivot.
That's so cool. Now I have some fun questions.
Good.
What time do you set your alarm in the morning?
Fluctuates. This week it's been 7. Next week it'll be about 5:30 in the morning. This was the first off season ever, and maybe some of it was because of COVID, and there wasn't an urgency to go do anything sometimes. I let myself sleep in the 8s, and that was really late. I mean, I felt guilty sleeping into the 8s. But we're also up all night as a family, sequestered in this house, watching Netflix till 2 in the morning. So, there was some circumstance around this. But, Cade, I try to get up early. It's when I think my best. I try to have quiet time, get my mind settled, get my spirit settled for the day ahead, and then reload. The shirt says again and again and again, 1-0. And I kind of take, that's my mantra, is this, just keep doing it again and again and again and again and again, and keep trying to win that morning, and you stack those up, and next you got a lot of success.
So, Cade, now that you're in summer, the school's over, what time will your alarm go off?
Later.
Hey, listen, I don't blame you. My daughters don't now Maddie, who works for NEGU, she's always been early riser. Those other two, they would sleep as long as they possibly could. You could not, if you didn't set an alarm, they'd sleep till 2 in the afternoon. So I think some kids do need to sleep in the summer, especially as hard as you work, Cade.
Yeah, my one of my friends, like he like one time I was at school and I was like it was like sixth period and he was sick, so he was at his house and I'm like and I like texted him something and he's like, I just woke up. Like
No way.
It was 3 in the afternoon. And I was like, it was like so like it's so like odd how many people can sleep that long.
I think the older you get, and when you get really old like Erik, I think you wake up super early in the morning no matter what. I have a new friend in Lake Tahoe. I just met him. He's in his 70s, and he wakes up at 3 a.m. every morning, has for the last 10 years. Doesn't matter if he sets an alarm. Doesn't matter when he goes to bed. I know a lot of people that are advanced in their ages that tend to wake up earlier and earlier and earlier.
That's because I go to bed early so I can get up early. All right, Cade, what's next?
And my last question is, what's your favorite football movie?
I just remember the Titans. I mean, there's been a lot of good ones, but in fact, Delaney and I last night thought about watching Remember the Titans for the 35th time. Like whenever like you can't find something to watch, especially during this COVID, isolation deal. I've never watched so much TV in my life, and you're kind of like running out of things to watch, and it's come up probably 10 times. So we can always just watch Remember the Titans again. It's just so good. I think, especially with what our world's going through right now, it has some really awesome principles. I think it addresses some big issues. And I think it shows the power of team, the power of encouragement, the power of camaraderie. Can you see behind me, my two core values, Cade, are, here he says, at the edge of uncomfortables, where you find greatness, you've heard me say that, and then do hard things. So I think, that's a lot of what that movie talks about is doing hard things, being uncomfortable, getting out of your comfort zone. It's just a fantastic movie, and the music's awesome, and the football's pretty good, so it's not cheesy football, and it's got great acting. So I love that movie.
Yeah, my dad introduced me to that, and it's on Disney Plus and stuff. So I like sports movies, so I love that movie too.
What's your favorite football movie or sports movie? I'll give you
sports movie. I like Rookie of the Year. It's my baseball movie. Yeah. And then and I'll also Remember the Titans too.
That's a good one. How about you, Erik?
Remember the Titans is up there, and then what other one?
Have you seen When the Game Stands Tall? The De La Salle story. It's a good one. That's a really good one, actually. We actually watched it one year up at the opening before it got released in theaters. They previewed it. It's an impactful football movie as well. So.
Wow. Well, Trent, thank you so much for jumping on and chatting with Cade. Cade, another great job hosting your own show.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're getting good at this, man. I'm gonna get Hasselbeck fired, and you can take his job at ESPN. One of them, at least. There's two of them. They look the exact same, so we'll get you on one of those seats. What do you got planned for this summer, Cade? Since travel's a little different, and I'm sure you have to be a little more careful with COVID and all that stuff. So, what's your plan?
We're we usually go on a couple of at least one camping trip every year. Last year, we went to Utah.
Oh, sweet.
And just camped out there. So something like camping maybe.
Do you fish when you guys go camping?
Yeah, we do.
Have you learned how just stream fishing? I'm getting into fishing.
Fly fish.
You fly fish?
Yeah.
You don't. See, now I'm jealous. I've always wanted to learn to fly fish, but I don't think I'm patient enough. You know who wants to take me fly fishing? I'll name drop here is Thomas Ratt. He's here in Nashville, and he's a big fly fisherman, and so he's.
I don't know if that shoulder from you right now will be able to handle it.
And you don't want to say no to Thomas Rhett to go fly fishing. So I'm kind of avoiding him right now for that reason. So, well, you have a great summer, Cade. No, you're always welcome in Nashville. When travel kind of lightens up and you feel good to travel, you're always welcome out here. You're always a Mustang. And I can't wait to see you at the next Elite 11 or Epic or whatever we can do to get you to tell your story to these kids. So thanks for having me. It's been an honor. And obviously, Erik, it's an honor to be a part of NEGU. And we'll keep pushing along.
Well, man, thank you so much. Stay safe. We love you. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.